Yeah. So last class we have completed robust language, right? Python is one of the robust language because of the feature called, what is that feature? Hmm? You guys are having your own theories, right? Hmm? Exception, what it is? Exception handling, right? That's what. You have to read the notes daily, otherwise you will make your own theory. Okay? One says stock market. What you were saying? Uh-huh. Acha, acha. Robust means strong. Okay, you're saying that. And you were saying, right? Case switching. Case. What it is? I don't know. Case switching. So you are making two things in one, right? Match case and switch case will become case switching, right? Okay. So already we have seen this object oriented. We will see later on, right? Ninth. So because of exception handling, Python is one of the robust programming language. Okay. Now Python is also an extensible language. Python is what? An extensible language. Why we call this as extensible language? That means Python can use its features, okay, can use its features to other programming language as well. What I'm trying to say is, let me give you a simple scenario, okay? YouTube, everyone knows YouTube. YouTube, right? YouTube is using 40 to 50% of C programming language. What it uses? C programming, because C programming is having one feature called pointer. What it is? Pointer, right? And this pointer, actually what this pointer, you do not need to understand because we are not in C, we are in Java, right? This particular pointer makes C programming as one of the fastest execution language, which can execute the code more faster than other languages, right? So there is a concept called pointer, okay? And that's why YouTube is using more 40 to 50% of C programming language because of the concept called pointer, which makes execution more faster. Similarly, YouTube also uses 20 to 30% of Python here. 20 to 30% of Python. The number may vary as well, okay? But C programming also is being used, Python is also is being used. But why Python? Because there is a concept called modules. Already we have seen, right? What is module? Which reduce the code, right? We do not need to write from the scratch. Already we have the modules. Only what we have to use? We have to import the module and we have to use in our application. Yes or no? Okay. So as Python is providing this many features, already what we have seen, okay, plus if we use C++ for faster execution, don't you think that our program will run more faster, as well as it is going to give more efficient output? Are you getting it? So what I'm trying to say, why Python is one of the extensible language, because Python, okay, can be used its features, okay, can use its features to other programming language as well, other programming language as well. That means what are the features? Already we have seen lots of features, right? Exception handling is there, module concept is there, right? Python is one of the interpreted language, Python is one of the dynamically typed language. These are features, right? and lots of so many features what we are going to see further. That is what Python is, one of the strong language, has lots of features, so that I can use other languages for some different particular things, right? Or we can say different task, as well as I can use Python for different tasks. So if I make all this Python plus other language in a bunch and I make an application, don't you think that application will be more efficient application? Are you getting it? That means what this extensible meaning is, we are extending the features of Python to other languages. Are you getting it? Now YouTube is using 40 to 50% of C++ along with what? Python, and rest of 20 to 10% they are using other languages, okay, for different purposes. So now if I say Python is being used for different purpose, C++ is used for different purpose, that purpose is more faster execution, Python used for more robustness. Are you getting it? So that we will get any kind of output or any kind of application as a more efficient application and effective application, I would say. Are you getting it? So that's why we call it as one of the extensible programming language. That means it can extend its features, okay? It can extend its features to other languages as well. Okay? Are you getting it? Yes or no? So I would say it offers its programming facilities, or I would say its programming features to other programming language. Okay? For instance, let's say for instance Python, or I would say let's say to other programming languages, that I would say making it making Python one of the one of the extensible programming extensible programming language. Are you getting it? This is the meaning of having extensible programming. Okay, there is one more concept is there called embedded. Okay, embedded, both are just we can say opposite of each other, right? As here we are using the features of other programming language to, or features of Python programming to other programming language. Here what we have to do, we are going to use other programming language facilities to Python, or we can say I can call C programming code to the Python programming. I can call Java programming to Python programming to make it more efficient. Are you getting it? Right? So I would say Python can speed up speed up things, okay, by calling other programming, or I would say code from, by calling code from other programming languages. Okay, code from what? Other programming languages. For example, Python can call code written in C for faster execution, Are you getting it? Okay, so these two terms, don't get confused with this. Okay, extensible means we are extending Python's features to other languages, along with other languages, we can say. And embedded means we are including the features, or we are including other language to the Python itself. Okay, and last one, that is a third party API. If you check here, up to 10th we have completed, right? Up to 10 features we have completed. Next, 11th one is what? Third party APIs, right? Third party libraries. It supports third party libraries. What is third party libraries here? The libraries which are not present in Python software but can be used for making an application in Python. Okay. For example, if you have the knowledge, or if you have ever heard about this, that, just give me a moment. Ah, leave it. So if you have ever heard about this NumPy, okay, pandas, we say matplotlib, these are kind of a module, right, which does not comes with Python software. It does not comes with Python software. Here Python software has its own modules, has its own libraries, right? But we can install some libraries which are not installed, pre-installed in Python software. These are kind of NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib. These are what? Third party modules. We can call it as like someone separately, or some other firms or some other people they have created this pandas, numpy, or third party libraries, and now what we are going to do, we are going to use those things into what? Python. Okay, just you think like we also can make our own phones, like India can also make phones nowadays, we are making, right? But uh, previously what we do, we import from somewhere, right? We used to import it from somewhere, that we used to import from China, we used to import from US, we used to import from other different countries, right? What we are doing, we are importing from different countries. We also can make, yes, nowadays we are making it. What we are making, that is a the I can say product based on, or product from India, it is products from India, it is those product what we are importing from outside, that is what? Third party products. Okay, those are what? Third party products, and that we have to take the permission, right? We have to take the permission. For that, in particular Python, when we want to take the permission, we have to install it. Okay, how to install it? If you go for, you have to go for CMD, and we have to call it. Okay, every time we have to call it. There is a command called pip install, let's say numpy. So numpy is one of the third party module. It is third party library, right? To use this, we have to install it. As I already have this numpy module, it is not going to install. It is going to say requirement already satisfied. As this already we have, okay, this particular thing already we have. Are you getting it? Okay. Okay, so I'll go for this. uh, okay, leave it for now. I'm not going to show you. Now think about, okay, what is third party modules which is not present in Python software but made for Python itself. Made for what? Python. But now what we have to do, we have to import it from somewhere. Okay, you think of, like we
మనం
have
టాలీ
a
చేస్తామా
container,
లేదంటే మనం టాలీ అవుతున్నామా
right? We have a container, and where we have kept, just give me a moment. Everyone please check your mic. Someone has,
Even barcode కొట్టి
Satish,
చూస్తే తెలియదు.
could you please, while attending the class, could you please once, every time, you have to check once, right? Satish, try to understand, okay? right? So numpy, pandas, matplotlib, these are every consider like there is a bowl, or there is a container, right? If I say that go and, okay, in container there are multiple balls. Okay, there are multiple balls with different colors. If I tell you go and get me a red color ball, what you will do? You will open it immediately and you will put your hand into it and pick the ball out, right? That particular ball, red ball, right? So what, here also you have to go to the container, you have to pick the ball. Okay, same thing happens for Python as well. We have to go to that particular source where that particular module is. So for that we have to install it in our system. Are you getting it? Okay, so this is what third party modules. So it Python also supports third party libraries. Okay, libraries, already we have seen what is library. Okay, already we have seen. So I would say to boost up, and also it makes our program more efficient. Okay, and to boost up the efficiency efficiency of traditional Python programming. Okay, Python programming, we rely we rely on third party libraries. Okay, third party libraries, or we say it as third party tools. Okay, like numpy, pandas, matplotlib, cbon. Okay, some more like scipy. Okay, scipy. Some more like sklearn, we call it as scikit-learn as well, and many more we have. Okay, to use these tools, okay, we simply install them using the command called pip. Okay, the tool using tool called pip. The meaning of pip is nothing but Python installer. Okay, package installer it is. Python package installer it is. Okay, so pip is nothing but Python package installer it is, right? It installs the packages. Are you getting it? So here we have completed all the features. Let me check what these are used in machine learning. Yeah, fine. So here we have completed our features of Python, right? So what are the features? One more time, go ahead. Simple and easy. Next is freeware and open source. Platform independent, dynamically typed language, interpreted language. Next, high level, robust, both procedural and object oriented, embedded, extensible. Okay, so this many thing we have seen. I hope you understood all the concept what we have seen for features of Python. Next, what we are going to see is how we represent data in Python. Okay, so there is a question how we represent data in Python. Every data is stored in the form of object. Already we have seen this. Already we have I have taught you about this, right? Right. So uh, the data, the data representation in Python is nothing but storing the data in the main memory. That's it. Storing the data in main memory, right? So to store the data in Python, we need few things we need. Okay, few things we need. What are the things we need? Check it now. First, we call it as literals, literals, or we can also call it as values. Okay, literals or values. Second we need is variables, or we can call it as identifiers. And the third is known as data type. Are you getting it? Yes or no? Okay, done. Okay, let's go for what is literal or values here. What is literal here? What is literal or value here, right? Now, let's go to Python command or Python shell where I'll be showing you what is literal or values, right? When I say a is equals to 10, can I say 10 is a value? Can I say 10 is a value, right? But in Python, we also call it as literal. In standard programming term, we call it as what? Literal. Why we call it as literal? You check it, a is equals to 10. Okay, a is equals to 10. Now if you check, I'll give you an example. A is equals to, I'll write int of input of, enter the number. Here what we have to enter, as we have taken value as what? Integer. That means the value should be having value as integer value, right? Now what I am taking, you check it here, I am taking something like this. Now if you check value error, we are getting what? And what it is saying? Invalid literal. Invalid literal for integer function with base 10. Literals are nothing but values. That's it. Literals are nothing but values. If I say a is equals to 20, this is a integer type of literal. What it is? Integer type of literal. If I say a is equals to 2.0, what type of literal it is? Float literal. From now onwards, okay, keep these things in a practice, that you should say every time when I ask what type of value it is, you should say it is an integer type of literal, it is an float type of literal. So whatever the number of data types we have, we can call all those data type as what? One of the literal. All these data type values as what? Literal. So in this case 20 is one of the literal here. I can say, I should not say literal here. 20 is a value of what type of literal? Integer literal. Similarly, if I say 2.0 is a value, what type of literal it is? Float literal. Are you getting it? So this is what we call it as a literal value, or we can say value itself or literal itself, right? This is what literal. So when I say a is equals to something like Python, what type of literal it is? String literal. Okay, what it is? String literal. Are you getting it? Simple. In simple term, these are known as literals. Let me tell you what is literal. Literals are the values. That simple. Literals are the values entered by the programmer, or we can say, or the end users, or we can say application users as well, application users, to real time applications. Okay, for example, let's suppose there is a form. Okay, there is a form, and there you have to enter like name, age, gender, and I would say your occupation, right? So name would be what type of literal? string literal. Age would be integer literal. Next, gender, string literal. Next, occupation, string literal. Mobile number, integer literal. Likewise, can you say what is literal? Okay, got it. So all the values are nothing but some kind of literal it is. Okay. For example, for example, now in this case, let's suppose for integer literal, integer literals could be, example is you take something like s number, student number you take, right? Similarly, you take something like um, you can take anything like mhm. No, marks is also comes with float, right? So that could come under float as well. So is S number, employee number, EMP number also. Sometimes we call EMP number comes with numbers, right? Something you take like mobile number. Yes, age is also there, age, and so many we have. Okay, so many. Second, let's say float literal. What are the float literal? Percentage. Yes, percentage, height. Okay, similarly, height, weight, and what else? Okay, what else? Height, or whatever it is. Okay, height, weight. Next, what I can say? Okay, like so on we have. Okay, next, third, float. Sorry, Boolean literal. When I say Boolean literal can only be having either true or false. Okay, similarly string string literals could be something like name, gender, okay, and location. Likewise we can have many. Are you getting it? Yeah. Internally pvm takes it as 0 and 1. Okay, I'll tell you when it comes to boolean, I'll tell you what it is. We have already seen, right? No, acha, data type we haven't seen, right? In when it comes to boolean, I'll tell you what is 0 and 1, how pvm reads the value. Okay, right. Now what is second thing? Second is what? Variables. Variables, or we call it as identifiers. We call it as variable as well as identifier, right? But why we call it as identifier and variable? Okay, now let's suppose you have one you can say you have one form. Okay, you have form, and I'm giving to 10 different person, 10 different people I'm giving to this particular form. Will they keep name as same for everyone? Everyone will be having different name, everyone will be having different parameters. Yes or no? Right? Can I say that all the form, whatever the form I have given, all the form will be having different values based on the person? Similarly, if I make, for an example, let's suppose I am making one application, right? And in that particular application you have to give your detail like name, age, gender. So everyone would be having different I can say information, right? Can I say while running that program or while entering anything, the value may varies? Okay, the value which may varies or which can vary, that is nothing but variable. We call it as what? Variable. For example, if I'm taking something like here, if I'm taking name is equals to something like let's say Raj. Okay, Raj. Next time I can take something like Karan as well, right? Yes. Name is equals to, I can say Karan as well. Can I say by the time it has got changed? Yes or no? It is getting changed by the time. Previously, I have taken Raj. Now my mind has changed, and immediately I have taken what? Karan here. Right? That means the value may vary at the time of execution. The value may vary. Yes or no? That is known as variable here, which can be changed during the program execution. Okay, are you getting it? Can be changed. And also there is an also option that if you don't want, you cannot, you don't want to change it. Okay, do not need to change it. For example, let's suppose name you are taking something like Raj. So this is a fixed value. In this particular case, this is a fixed value. But if I say something like name is equals to input of enter your name, enter your name. Now if you say, it is saying enter your name, I can say Raj here, right? Next day if I go for again, it is saying something, I can take any other name. Yes. Are you getting it? That means while executing it, I can change the values as well. The values may vary every time. This is known as variable, which stores different values based on the programmer or the end users. Are you getting it? So what is basically, what is variables? I would say once the application user enters the data from the keyboard, okay, or keyboard to program, I would say, it it is programmer's responsibility programmer's responsibility to store the data in the form of variables, or I would say data in variables or identifiers or identifiers. Are you getting it? Right? So whose responsibility it is? Programmer's responsibility. Hence, all literals or values or data, okay, must be stored in main memory, okay, in main memory in the form of identifiers, or we call it as variables. Okay, variables. Otherwise we can't process the can't process the data. Okay, let me show you what actually it is. Okay, let me show you what actually it is. Let's go to, let me take it first. Right, now let's suppose I'm taking one value, something like Python. What type of data it is? String, right? I have taken it, and what it is giving, what returning it back, or what it is returning? String value as Python, right? Now tell me, again I want to use this. What should I do? Tell me. Now I want to use this. Tell me, what should I do? We have to go for storing the data into a variable. Now if I want to use this, we have to write it. Yes or no? Yes or no? That is not convenient for a programmer. That is not convenient, right? So for this particular thing, we use some container. Variable is kind of a container, right? For example, you take bowl to store something, right? To store something for a while. For a while, later on you will dump it somewhere, or either you will eat it or you will dump it. Yes or no? For a while you are storing it. Can I, what it is it a temporary storage or permanent storage? Temporary storage. The bowl you are taking, you are going to make it empty some at one point of time. Yes or no? That is a temporary storage. Here also these kind of variables are known as temporary storage. Okay, we store these variables in the form of variables or object, whatever you call, but into a main memory. Main memory is nothing but RAM, we call it as. Okay, RAM, and RAM stores always temporary data. Are you getting it? If you say, if you take secondary memory, if you take secondary storage, then you can be able to store what? Permanent data. In our phone also we have two terms, RAM and ROM. When I say 128 GB ROM, yes, 128 GB ROM, that means it is a permanent storage. Okay, it is a permanent storage. But RAM is what? A temporary storage it is. Yes, RAM is a temporary storage. But if I say, now here, if I say a is equals to 10, this 10 is one of the variable which is storing a temporary data here. Which is storing temporary data. What type of data it is? What type of data it is? Integer data it is, right? So can I say that a10 is one of the integer literal and is storing its value or being stored inside what? A object of what type? Integer type. So for every object there will be one class. For every object there will be, to check which class it is, we have to go for the type function. Check it what class it is, integer class. Similarly, we have lots of classes, lots of functions. I'll tell you once we get into the subject. Okay, these are such basic topics. Okay, these are some basic topics I'm showing you. Once we get into actual subject, then I'll show you lots of things internally about these things. How we store class, why we are calling this integer as class. Okay, are you getting it? Okay, right. So variables are what? It is kind of a, variables are kind of a container which stores the value in a temporary storage. Are you getting it? In a temporary storage. So if you check here as well, once it is saying, hmm, it is saying, if you check, once the application user enters the data from the keyboard, who is going to enter the data? If we are making the application, are we only going to enter the data? How? If we are making the application, are we only going to enter the data? We are making for whom? Someone has made Instagram, right? But Instagram is made for that only person, or everyone can use? Everyone can use. Everyone can give their data. That's what I'm asking. If we are making, if we are the programmer, so we are making application for users, then users are going to give the data or the inputs. Those inputs, okay, for example, you have, everyone has I guess so, everyone have their own FB, Facebook ID, or we can say Insta ID, right? When you open the Insta ID as a new user, so what you have to do, as a new user, you have to give your data, right? You have to create your ID first. Then you have to give all the data like birth, date of birth. Then you have to give your name. Lots of different fields are there, right? You have to give every time. Okay, where these kind of data are getting stored, where it is getting stored. So let me give, there is, particularly, for example, let's suppose there is a Instagram, Insta it is there, and it is taking name, age, I would say gender, okay, id and id and password. All this kind of data insta is taking from you, yes, but where this kind of data are being stored? Database. There is a huge container, there is a huge container called database. Okay, there is a huge container called database. For every particular person there is a database, individual database for that particular person. For example, let's suppose there is a person called xyz. So this xyz is giving all this data to Instagram, and this Instagram is storing this data into what? Database. Okay, or we can say in data warehouse, where we have individual database, right? This database is going to store your these data, like name, age, gender, id and password. Are you getting it? Now you want name, so from where you have to keep it out? You have to keep it out from the database. Are you getting it? Similar kind of thing happens for programming language also. If a user is giving, or if a user is entering anything, entering any input, okay, any input, for this input there has to be one variable, there has to be one variable which is used to store, which is used to store the data. Are you getting it? Right. Are you getting it? Confusion? Anyone? Question? Yes, online guys? No. Okay. So this is about variables and literals. Literals are what? They are nothing but values. Variables, it is kind of a container which stores the data, okay, in the form of object, in the form of object. And behind every object there is a, once again repeated, sir. Which one, Satish? Which one, Satish? Variables. Do you want variables? Do you want to know about variables? Okay. See, variables, Satish, you think about that you have some stuff like you have chapati, okay? You have chapati, okay? You have vegetable, you have something like we call it pickle, okay, pickle. We have sorry, you only have you have something like, let's say, fruits, okay, fruits, okay. So you have these many things: chapati, you have vegetable, you have pickle, you have, and fruit you have, right? For storing this you need some storage. Yes, I want response from Satish. Satish, please turn on your mic first. Satish, turn on your mic.
Okay,
Ha.
okay,
Now
okay.
tell me, sir. For storing chapati, you need container.
Yeah,
Okay, you need container. For storing vegetable also you need container.
yeah,
For you storing pickle also you need container. Same thing. For fruit also you
yeah.
need container. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe
Okay,
there is a possibility that from 100 people, one person would like that also, which is not going to store fruit in one container, or he or she just keep it somewhere, right? But every
yeah,
time we need container to store something, right? Now
yeah,
the question is, if anything is there, if we want container, why do we need container? To store the data or to store something, right? Here you container is equivalent to what? Sorry, container is equivalent to just hold on. Containers are equivalent to variables. So variables are nothing but kind of a container which is used to store the data. Store the data. Are you getting it? That is the simple way of explaining what is variable. Variable is kind of a container which stores the data, or you can also call it as variables are nothing but object which is used to store the data, okay, in its own memory address. Yes, Satish.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine.
Okay, fine.
Right. Any other doubt to anyone? Right, let me show you few example for this. Okay, so if I say is equals to 20, b is equals to 30, here b is equals to 30, here two variables we have taken, a and b. So I would say a and b are variables, whereas 20 20 and 30 are what? Literals or values. Got it? And you can use some operations as well. A plus b, it is going to give you, if you print of c, it is going to give you what? 50. Are you getting it? So two things we have seen, variables and literals, or we can say identifiers or values. Examples. Right. Now there are some rules also. Okay, there are some rules also to declare the variable. Okay, there are some rules for declaring the variable. What are these rules? First of all, as already we have seen that if I am taking a is equals to 20, b is equals to 30, a and b are what? Variables. 20 and 30 are my literals or values, right? But what are the thing we can use as my variable name? Okay, declaration of variable name should have these many rules, or should follow these many rules. What are the rules? First of all, let's start with the first rule. Variable names in Python, okay, can contain the combination of alphabets, okay, digits, and the special character called underscore, that we call it as like this. Okay, underscore symbol. Are you getting it? So first rule says what? Variable name in Python can contain combination of alphabets, digits, and underscore. That means what I'm trying to say. Let's suppose there are multiple names. Okay, how we can take name one. Name one is equals to something like Raju. Okay, name two I am taking something like Karan. I can take something like this. If you check, can I say it is a combination of alphabets plus numbers? So that's why the rule number one says what? We can use the combination of what? Sorry, combi combination of alphabets, digits, and underscore, right? Similarly, underscore is also there, so I can go for underscore as well. So if I say name underscore is equals to 20, I can, or anything, okay, 20, let's say Karan. This is also possible, right? So underscore can also be used as the variable name. You check name 123 underscore is equals to Python. So can I say it is a combination of alphabets, digits and underscore, that is a special character, right? So this can be used here. But there are some more rules that okay, there are some more rules. Next rule says, okay, the name must start with either alphabets or the special character called underscore or the underscore, otherwise we will get error. Okay, let's check it now. So let's say we have taken this, right? Now let's suppose I want the name. What the rule says, what it should start with either alphabets or underscore. I'll say 1 2 name is equals to something like Python. What it is going to give? What it is going to give? Error,
Error.
because the rule says what? The name must start with the, okay, right, check it. Syntax error. What we are getting? Syntax error. So who is giving this syntax error? Compiler.
1 2 name.
Who is giving syntax error? Compiler. Okay, because compiler work is what it does? It checks for the errors. Okay, what type of error? Syntax error. Are you getting it right? So now also we cannot start with the numbers, right? Now let's suppose I'm giving something like underscore. Should we go for this? Should we go for this? Is it possible? Yes, because rule says what? It must start with alphabets or underscore. Check. We can use this as well, right? So next few things I'll be, okay. Next few example tomorrow I'll tell you. Okay. Next few example I'll tell you tomorrow. Mm, this is possible, right? This is executable. Shall we stop it here? Few more rules we have. Okay, few more rules, like we cannot use special symbols, we cannot use our keywords. I'll tell you what are the keywords we cannot use as our variable name. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see these things, and tomorrow only we are going to start with the data types. At least it is going to take one, or we can say 10 days. 10 days it is going to take to complete only data types. Okay, because we have lots of data types. We have 14 types of data types in Python. Okay, one by one we will complete it. Shall we stop it? Yes, online guys, do you have any question? He's going to ask something. Do you have any question? No, let's wait for him. Yeah, Satish, do you have any question? 14, I said now 14 data types we have. 1 4 14. Okay, 14 data types, 1 4 data types. Understood, Satish? Yeah, shall we stop it here? Okay, so thank you so much guys. Try to Enroll again, I'm saying, sir, is there any limit in storing data? No. In Python, there is no particular limitation of storing the data because other languages has its own storage, or we can say limitations, right? For integer, they takes 2 or 4 bytes. For float also, it takes 8 or 8 byte, I guess, so, right? Huh, right? So, but in Python, as Python object, Python says everything is an object, and object stores its values independently because objects are independent to its OS, operating system. Object, that is whatever the value variable you are taking, that is also known as object, right? Objects are totally independent to its operating system. Are you getting it? So it can store any number of values here. It is not, there is no limitation of storing the data. Okay, there is no particular limitation here. Are you getting it? Yes, clear? Okay, fine. Question? Okay, thank you so much, guys. See you tomorrow and try to enroll as soon as possible. Have a great day. Bye bye.